These practices are so important that I even marked them with an exclamation mark, as you can see, okay? So please really pay attention here. And if need be, go back and repeat it or pause the video, or, if you have any questions, I know I didn't mention it before, but if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to me, and no problem at all. Leave me a comment, write me an email, find me on LinkedIn, no problem. I'm available and I'll help you if you have questions. So the first one is continual improvement as a practice, okay? First of all, you need to know that continual improvement happens everywhere in the organization, or I would say should happen at every level of the organization. That's why we have it in a service value system, right? There's a continual improvement part of it. We have it in a service value chain because there is a activity called improve, and we also have it as a practice here, continual improvement. That's what we're going to talk about now. You also need to know that there will be a lot of improvement ideas in a company, right? I mean, you have probably a lot of people in your organization and all of them might be coming up with new ideas. So it's important to know that these ideas need to be reprioritized when new ones are added into the, continual improvement register, we call it, but you could also call it an idea backlog, which could be a Kanban board, or it could be an idea box, or it could be anything. It doesn't matter in the end. Continual improvement is the responsibility of everyone. Again, important to note. Organizations may have a continual improvement team for better coordination, especially bigger organizations might have something like a innovation team or something like that. Like I've been working for a company which had a team which was continuously searching the market for new technologies and new startup companies having good ideas to see if anything can be integrated into our own organization. Which totally makes sense, right? To still be competitive and keep being competitive on the market. And also important, all 4 dimensions need to be considered during any improvement initiative. You might remember in the beginning of our course, we said the 4 dimensions, right? That VoIP stuff, value streams and processes, information and technology, the second one was so organization and people, information and technology, and partners and suppliers, right? These are the 4 most basic building stones for any organization. So if we are running an improvement initiative, we are building on those 4 building blocks. Remember that. So continual improvement is actually a practice as well. And if you have been doing ITIL version 3, this might seem familiar to you because it's the continual improvement model, although it has been slightly updated since version 3 of ITIL. It starts with what is the vision, like the business vision, our mission of the company, the goals and objectives that we want to achieve, because we need to have an understanding of the high-level goals of the company before we are running any initiative for improvement, so we can align the vision and mission of our improvement with the vision and mission of the whole organization. So we want to make sure that we are doing the right thing and we are not just wildly improving something that nobody wants in the end. So the next question is, where are we now? We need to perform baseline assessments. We need to measure to understand our current situation. And we even have a guiding principle for this one, right? It's called Start Where You Are, which helps us understand our current situation and helps us understand if we have the possibility to reuse anything. In this continual improvement model here, the where are we now question is about the starting point of our improvement journey. We could call it, point A. Like if you are doing a trip on Google Maps, it would be your, where am I now? Like current location. So next question is, where do we want to be? That would be our destination in Google Maps. Yeah, we need to define measurable targets. And I like to stress the fact that they need to be measurable, shorter term targets. Okay, because what is the vision is more about long-term targets. Where do we want to be in the next couple of years? But where do we want to be is about shorter term targets, like milestones that we need to achieve, which are getting us to the overall vision, the long-term goals. Okay, so where do we want to be is all about measurable targets, and they need to be SMART. Probably you have already heard that term. If not, SMART stands for specific, measurable, A stands for achievable, R stands for relevant, and T stands for, time boxed or time bound or something like that. Question number 4 is, how do we get there? We need to have a defined improvement plan in place. We need to think about how do we actually want to achieve our measurable targets? How do we want to get there, right? It means we need to have an idea of if we want to do it agile or waterfall, how we want to set up our teams, how we set up our management structures and stuff like that. The next step would be, and that's actually the change to version 3 of ITIL, is take action. It's all about making sure that we act on our plan for improvement. We really do. Instead of just, doing the planning and doing the thinking and so on, we really take action. So we execute the improvement plan. Then we need to keep asking ourselves, did we get there? So let's say we have defined a measurable target in the where do we want to be step, which says that by the end of the year, we want to increase income by 10%. Kind of measurable, right? It's a smart goal. So we say, did we get there? So a time is there. The year end has arrived. So now we need to evaluate our metrics and KPIs that we have set up before, our measurable targets, and we need to see if we actually were able to achieve the goal. If yes, cool. If no, why? So there needs to be kind of a lesson learned. And the last question is, how do we keep the momentum going? How can we keep that cool improvement up? How do we make sure that we are not going back to the old practices of working? How do we make sure that we can continue our improvement journey to keep the speed up and to make sure that, if we improved something, people not just go back to how it was before? Because there is a tendency for that, and there is a topic which is called organizational change management helping with this a lot.